Other interesting cultural news, you have Target getting a lawsuit because of the Pride backlash as shareholders are irate. Now, this comes to us thanks to the OG search engine back in the day, Yahoo Finance, and it's also a repost by Reuters. And they say, quote, Target must face shareholder lawsuit over Pride backlash, U.S. judge rules, which is a very big deal. One of the big reasons I think we're going to see a lot more companies dropping the whole DEI initiatives. Now, scrolling down to the substance of the article, this is also credited to Mike Skurla, who's right over there, saying, quote, Target has failed to persuade a judge in Florida to dismiss a lawsuit that accused the retailer of deceiving shareholders after its sales of LGBTQ-themed merchandise for Pride Month sparked a backlash and a customer boycott. And, quote, to me, the more controversial thing was the child-targeted LGBTQY stuff and the trans stuff. Again, they had a metallic enamel pin. Don't get me wrong, it was probably great Chinese metal, but they had a pin with Satan on it that said, Satan respects pronouns. I'm not being bombastic when I say they hired a satanic designer. They quite literally did. He was as bizarre mentally as he was physically. That's coming from me. And yeah, they also had the tuck swimsuit so you could tuck your junk, and they had stuff targeting kids. To me, that was a big controversy. They've had Pride stuff for well over a decade. They were one of the first stores to really go all into that. Kind of ironic, they used to be a faith-based, family-owned company, but I partially digress. And a lot of people are saying, Target chose to do that, but that is not what was best for the business. And there's a lot of speculation. Do shareholders have a case to mount against these companies? They're not acting in the best faith of the shareholders, and this is a big deal. Now, they say, quote, U.S. District Judge John Baldamenti in Fort Myers ruled that the plaintiffs had presented enough information for now to persuade claims that Target misled investors about its efforts to guard against social and political risk. The lawsuit from investor Brian Craig claims that Target's board focused on activist groups' calls for diversity, equity, and inclusion, measures that overlooked potential negative responses to the Pride campaign in May 2023. Now, they say, quote, America First Legal, which A+ for marketing, you know exactly their stance, a conservative group that filed the lawsuit last year in a statement called the court ruling a, quote, a warning to publicly traded corporations and boards and management. The group said that the risk of DEI programs and environmental, social, and governance initiatives cannot be whitewashed with boilerplate language or ignored. Target had urged Baldamenti to dismiss the lawsuit, arguing that there's no evidence backing the allegations, that it had warned investors about potential DEI backlash, and the complaint was merely based on Craig's disagreement with the company's business decisions. Yeah, don't forget they lost billions of dollars, as well as the stock being viscerally destroyed. Now, more recently, they've been destroyed because, fiscally speaking, the sales aren't great. It dropped like 21% a couple weeks ago. Now, they also know that America First filed the lawsuit in Florida federal court. The nonprofit group is headed by Stephen Miller, a close advisor to U.S. President-elect Donald J. Trump. America First and other conservative groups have accused some major U.S. companies of undertaking diversity and inclusion efforts at the expense of shareholders. Fact check, true. Target pulled some LGBTQ-themed merchandise linked to Pride Month last year, citing increased confrontations between shoppers and employees. No, it's because of the social media online backlash. We saw very little, if no evidence of actual real confrontation. Remember, he had the bomb threats that turned out to be a nothing burger, just made up? Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, I'm kind of curious. Go into the comment section, which you kind of get lucky every once in a while. The Yahoo has that. I love the pop-ups. What's the click rate for a pop-up? Like 0.001%, yet companies still do them on them internets. Now, one of the first comments and most liked one comes from Paul, who says, quote, how much is Target now spending on legal fees? It is a tough competitive retail climate. The expenses are completely avoidable, but they insisted on inserting their brand and shareholders in the middle of politically divisive issues. True. Gained 51 upvotes and 9 downvotes, which, yeah, Target's, they're not doing great. They got about, I think, what was it, 4.2% profit margin, which, again, for retail, well, for groceries is good, but again, a grocery store on average is about 2% profit. Target, of course, sells a lot of things. Oh, I would say mostly crap you don't need when you look at, all the SKUs and what you really don't need versus what you need. But yeah, their profits have been decreasing and their sales have been plummeting like a rock. Chucker says, as a shareholder of hundreds of companies, I want them to be run by the most competent personnel without alienating the customer base. Target has done neither. Only through shareholder pushback in the courts will these publicly held companies get the message. Getting 38 upvotes and 10 downvotes. Also, if you're a shareholder, go ahead and make sure you vote. There are a lot of people on boards of directors that are up for election or re-election who look at their LinkedIn profile, you'll see they have pronouns in their bio, or they are bombastic about certain DEI initiatives rather than focusing on, their core competencies. So again, if you're a shareholder, it is your right. Go out there and vote. And also, you vote with your dollar. If they choose to go down these initiatives, go shop somewhere else. Again, when it comes to Target, there's zero reason to shop at Target. I say that partially because I'm frugal as hell, except when it comes to like business things. But again, there's nothing at Target you can't get at Walmart for a fraction of the price. And Walmart just said a couple of days ago they're rolling back their DEI initiatives. Now, of course, we'll see how this goes in practice. They're all saying it out loud. We'll see. I mean, the future will tell how true are they to their word. Get one or two more comments here. Peter says, Target is a business whose mission should be to maximize profit. But I will say this, if the profits from selling the same LGBTQ/BLM merchandise had exceeded the lost business from the boycott, I would have said it'd been a good business decision. They got 26 upvotes and 6 downvotes, which, yep, that is true. I would argue it's still not their core competency in terms of what they should be focusing on. But again, there are some companies out there who will increase their sales and market share because of DEI and ESG and Double Banana Falcon initiatives. Again, there's a market for that. I don't think on a mass scale in the United States right now, that's a big enough market to sustain most major businesses. I mean, especially since we saw Trump not just win the Electoral College, but win the popular vote. I think that in and of itself, that's going to push some businesses away from these type of controversial stances. And again, I'm going by order of these likes. So we're looking at the top comments. Haven't found a lot of them are really happy about Target. Let's see. Bruce said, quote, great ruling. Target hid from the investors and risked their money. All companies should not be involved in any politics to avoid risking a loss of 50% of the population. No CEO owns a company. They are employees of the company. It's the shareholders that are owners. Now, that got 14 likes and 3 down likes, which, yeah, the shareholders are the owners of the company. Now, in terms of getting involved in politics, I kind of think that's kind of, in a certain way, it's inevitable in the United States right now because the U.S. government is so bloated and ridiculous and has so much control over our lives and our businesses. You do have to be somewhat involved. So, for example, if a company is making something like a firearm company, which, again, has become a political thing in the United States where Democrats want to take guns away, Republicans want to, well, mostly let people have their guns, with some rhinos wanting to take them away. But there are some industries where I understand why they might make political donations, because those politicians will help fight for their businesses to make sure they're not, well, detrimentally overtaxed or destroyed or overregulated. Again, the U.S. government is so fat and bloated, and regulations are, I mean, talk about dictionary or just encyclopedia length of regulations in the United States. I understand why they have to get involved politically from a certain perspective. When it comes to activism and more customer-facing activities, yeah, I think on average it is probably best to go away from that. And I'll do one more. Kevin says Walmart. Geez, again, not financial advice. I wish I did. I'd say sorry, it's 2020. Kevin says Walmart stock is up 79% this year. Gee. Those Target employees and execs who own some Target shares, you're down 8 points this year. Wonder how they'll justify the DEI push when the Christmas bonuses are gone and yearly raises don't happen. They got 34 upvotes and 5 downvotes, which, yeah, I've been really impressed. Again, Walmart has half the profit margins of Target. Granted, much larger volume, but yeah, I would never thought this. Walmart stock has skyrocketed. Again, almost 80%. That's insanely good, beating the S&P 500, which, again, not financial advice. But yeah, I've been pretty impressed with Walmart. We'll see how they do from a growth perspective in 2025. But yeah, they continue to be one of the best retailers, bar none, and one of, if not the only retailer I actually go and actually spend money at personally. But yeah, it looks like all the comments are in agreement. Now, the real question is, if the shareholders win this lawsuit, it is possible we never see another major business do a DEI initiative. Because again, while it can be tough to show single variable, you have to be careful when you have single variable analysis, and there sometimes it can be tougher or easier to show a direct correlation between a DEI initiative and sales. Bud Light being the easiest one to prove, where there's a direct correlation to losing $1.2 billion in sales after they spent $185,000 on Dylan Mulvaney. That is pretty easy to show the correlation. But if they can really prove it, yeah, it might just disappear that category from business activities altogether. I'm a little skeptical. We'll see how it plays out. But let me know, do you think at the end of the day will Target win the lawsuit, or will the shareholders? Then what do you think would be the ripple effect, culturally speaking, with all the other companies? Let me know, because as always, be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by Christmas, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.